Hello, everybody. Have you been looking for me? Okay, so this is the week I'm making the switch and going from Tuesdays and Thursday streamings to Wednesday and Friday. And that's all fine. Tuesday, I totally didn't think about streaming. I knew that it was going to be today. Today, I had to keep reminding myself, you stream tonight. You stream tonight. I was just into doing so much at the house today, and and being happy with all the little things I was getting involved in, and I kept saying, you gotta remember, you stream tonight. But what I forgot to do was go to my Twitch page and change it so that it looked like I was supposed to stream last night. So any of you who came by expecting that, sorry, I apologize. My fault totally. I've got it fixed. I've got it set up for every Wednesday evening and Friday morning now. So that's the way it's going to be. And of course, Sunday doesn't change. Sunday's going to be the one that I'm keeping, right? Sunday afternoon is just really prime time, good time for me to stream. It's very perfect. So anyway, it's also later than I usually stream, and I did that intentionally too. It's a summertime thing, right? It's been daylight longer, and we eat later, and it's just felt better to put off this time of sitting here and doing spinning and streaming and all that until later this evening. So anyway, I'm going to do exactly what I did on Sunday. I'm going to spin on the merino silk bamboo, and it's on my aura. Gotten a really good start. This is just the first bobbin, and I have 8 ounces. So I suspect I maybe have spun an ounce of it, and it's looking like this. And I'm going to go ahead and get a towel, because this stuff is just, it's just shedding like crazy all over everything. It's not a shed as much as it's just sticky, it's staticky, it's clingy, right? That's the word I want. It's clingy. And it's just clinging to my clothes. I probably can't do much about my shirt, but that's all right. I'm also finding that it doesn't want to do long strands here. It wants this nice short stuff, and it wants to be pre-drafted pretty good. And when I do that, then I can spin it really thin, which is what you see on the bobbin. And that, I am loving that. I am just loving that. Pretty sure I can enter this in the state fair under 50% wool.
Television advertisements. I think Eat Fresh is a great slogan. They managed to convince the entire continent, if not the globe, that eating a food of
Sorry.
is somehow good.
What is going on with pretzel? Oh, yeah, it's in the middle of the song too. Okay. The only reason I was checking is because I have had Pretzel come up and say there are no more songs that fit your category, and then they go on and play the same thing over and over and over. And my category, unless maybe if I take off instrumental. Let me take that off too. See if that broadens it up a little bit. Anyway, what was I saying here? One of the categories for the state fair is at least 50% wool. And then blend. And I've got this tag. Oops, you can't really read that. That definitely says 50% merino. And I would submit that with it so that it would they would know. That's what it is. I officially put my entry in today. It had to be in by July 6th, so plenty of time. Pay $15 and then I can submit as many of the spinning categories as I want. There are only, I think, 9 categories. I can't do the novice. So I, of course, didn't put down that I'd go in that, and I didn't do the something knitted with handspun yarn because I just don't really have a good project this year. I have knitted before and entered it before, but what I'm working on right now, that rug mainly, is really such a use of crazy yarn. I really wouldn't submit it. I want something that's a prettier project than that is. So that can wait till next year. The real question is, how many do I still have to spin yet? And the other question is, the one category is dyed fiber, so I have to get my dye pots out. And then process the fiber after I dye it so that it looks ready to spin. I can't just send it in its clumps when it comes out of the dye pot. I have to process it too. But the fair's not till August 19th. So between Tour de Fleece and the Ravelinics for the Olympics, oh my goodness, I can do quite a bit. Hubby and I were just talking about looking at our calendar for the rest of June, and he said, well, what's going on in July? And I said, you know, there's one thing going on in July, and that's Tour de Fleece. It don't involve you. So, I really am kind of like on vacation during July. I'm not doing much. I know what I want to do. I'm having a very good day today. As far as very little pain, and that's because the weather broke, the humidity is low. It really makes a difference. The other side of news, exciting news, is, for me, is that I am back in the water aerobics class, and that is the reason I changed the days I stream, because it is Tuesday and Thursday mornings. Not that it directly affects the stream, but I am still being cautious about what I do with the knee, right? So if I go and exercise, I'm not sure I want to sit a couple hours and spin on the same day. So that's the main reason. Both of them, the exercise class, the water aerobics class, and the streaming are big time chunks because the class is only 40 minutes, 50 minutes, but the getting there, you know, takes a 40-minute drive. It takes a little bit to get ready to come home. I don't completely change, but I get dried off sufficiently and put a cover up on so that when I go sitting on a towel in my car, I'm not getting anything wet, and drive home. So, you know, I'm looking at easily leave at 8:15 and get home about 10:45. That's 2.5 hours. Or, yeah, two and a half hours. And I stream 2 hours. I mean, they're equal chunks of time, really. Oh, but it's nice. It's just, that water is warmer. It's not bath water, but it's warmer than a regular pool. And the exercise is low impact because of the water, so it doesn't hurt, usually. It's a lot of fun. The teacher is a really fun lady. So that makes me happy. Okay, if Pretzel is playing that same song over and over again, I am going to holler. What am I going to do about Pretzel? They just aren't doing their channels. I mean, if I put it on Surprise Me, I get no problem at all. If I try to put it on a themed channel, I get the same music over and over. Yes. Go back in the chair somehow. There. I'm already tired. I'm already yawning, I'm sorry. It's one thing I haven't ever tried. I don't sleep well, but I've never gotten up in the middle of the night when I can't sleep and streamed. I don't know if I'd get anybody or not to come watch. Probably nobody I already know, but I got my CVM for Shave 'em to Save 'em, which was 8 ounces, all drum carded. I'm not going to spin it till the Tour de Fleece because I'm on the Shave 'em to Save 'em team. I'll spin it then. So the next thing is I have more CVM of the same color because the sheep tend to be pretty much the same color. Good enough match anyway. It's not exact probably, but the remainder, I mean, that is going to be what I add to what I spend for the Shave 'em to Save 'em for a sweater spin. And there's a lot because it was a full fleece. It's all washed, it's all picked, and all it needs is carding, drum carded. So that's next. I am committing to drum carding 2 bats a day, and I try to get more if I'm up to it, but you'd be surprised how much work the drum carding is. I mean, it's manual, it's not electric, and I stand at it, so I can't do it long stretch, right? I stand and do bat. Bat takes me maybe 15 minutes to do. Sounds like such a simple thing, and I have done marathon drum carding, you know, where I would drum card the whole fleece up to 10, 12 bats, but not doing that right now. So I just break it down into so many a day. I have not ever been as prepared for Tour de Fleece as I am this year, as far as my own prepping. In years past when I was working, I either did the prepping during the tour, I'd prep in the morning and spin in the afternoon, but it was only on days off. I'd prep or spin in the morning because I work second shift, so I'd do one of the two. If I was home all day, I'd do both. But, you know, I am trying not to have to do any prep during the Tour de Fleece. I don't think I'm going to reach that goal, but that's the goal I'm working towards anyway. Ooh, I just had a neat thought for the state fair. If I took fiber dyed and did it on the blending board into Rolox. I wonder how picky about they are about it being all dyed. They probably want it all dyed. I wasn't going to dye multiple colors. I was going to use black walnut. Of course, I could have gradient. Could do gradients. That would be good. Darker the lighter. Hi, Kay. How are you today, tonight, whatever it is for you? It's early evening for me. I was just sitting here talking about the state fair because I put my entry in today online to. I'll be entering skeins of yarn that I spun. Um, you have state fair. Are you ever involved or gone to or involved with a state fair? I'll tell you what. I talk about it a lot during the summer. Um, because I do most of the work towards getting the stuff ready for the state fair. And there's been other years I've entered stuff besides spinning. I've done knitting. I've done actually culinary jams, jellies. There was one time hubby and I even made homemade wine and we entered it. So we've had very interesting state fair experiences. And of course, long time ago, I had Angora rabbits and I showed them at the state fair. They would have a rabbit show during the fair, so I showed them that too. That's when I really first started doing things at the state fair, was with the rabbits. Because it was a regular rabbit show too, so I was involved in that. I like the state fair. We try to go 2 or 3 times because they switch out the animals. They're not all there at the same time, and so I have to go one time to see sheep, and I have to go another time to see goats and chickens, and you know, the rabbits, different. So I go at least twice because they switch out the animals. The first part of the fair is certain animals, and the next part of the fair is other animals. Kay says she's doing good. You're at the point of the evening where you can finally relax. Isn't that wonderful? Yes. It's been a few years, she says, since I'm gone, but I've never entered anything. It's a very interesting experience. You have to be thick-skinned. You get judged, right? You can't let it go and upset you by what they say. But I like the challenge of making something specific to a category, right? It's in the spinning. This year I have quite a few choices. So some years I'm spinning at the last minute trying to have something to put in that entry, but I have pretty many of the 100% wool choices spun. Probably am going to put in a merino skein. really need to spend some time with Pretzel and find songs that I like and check mark them or like them so that I can just do a playlist. I'm having so much trouble with them not playing stuff and me not liking what they play. What you working on tonight, Kay? I found yet another Ravelry challenge group. We were talking about it on Discord, and they're going to start with the patterns on the 15th of June, and it can be a challenge. You can enter the challenge or not enter the challenge. Oh man, I forget what it's called. After that lead up, I better look it up. You are collecting all the challenges. I don't know why that appeals to me, but I guess I'm competitive, right? I'm competitive. All right, what is this under here? Super Sock World Championship. Okay, so I'll tell you the deal after I type this, but okay, new Ravelry challenge group. Super Sock World Championship. I'm not going to put a link. I'm just going to Super Sock World Challenge. Okay, you say your blanket sewing for a bit and then some more Jacob spinning. How you liking the Jacob? I can see the end inside, even if it doesn't feel like the roving or the spindle are actually changing size at all. Yeah. Did you prep it? Did you buy it prepped? And is it kind of all one color, or are you getting multiple colors to it? I have spun Jacob a couple different ways. Separated the colors out, spun them in sequence so that it made a self-striping hat when I knit it. But this time around, I took all the colors and blended them together in a vat and got a Tweety but homogenized color. You bought it as roving, so it's mostly gray on the roving. But sometimes it barber pulls because the colors in the single, which is fun. Yeah, because there's definite white, tan, right, then very light gray, then a darker gray and dark black or whatever. So I have a lot of that too. And that's why I liked it both ways. I liked it when I kept the colors separate and I ended up with, but this is the Jacob skein. The big skein. I have a little skein, but you can see the barber pulling there. Oh, there we go. That's really soft. Really soft. This is 250 yards. Then I have a little 19-yard skein that I can use to swatch with, but it happened because the bobbin wouldn't hold anymore. So I ended up with, the one bobbin ran out. I was plying and one bobbin still had stuff on it. And so I fixed that, and then that one bobbin ran out again, and then I had this little 19 yards left that I just wound in a ball as a single and plied. So it's a swatch skein is what it is. I end up with that periodically, and it's kind of nice, really, not to have to dig in and wind off your big skein if you want to swatch it for something. The Jacob it's a little bouncy, but it's not like merino where it puffs really bad. It's just a great wool to spin. So Kay says she got some Jacob for her fleece. The colors are a little more separated, so she's excited to play with. You also got some dye Jacob. Oh, if I get it close enough in size, I want to do a shawl with all three. Yes. Oh, that sounds wonderful. What color is the dyed fiber? I will have to admit, I have never dyed Jacob. But if I could take and make a dark gray and then over dye it, like with a jewel tone purple, I think that would really work out pretty. It would give it such depth. Purples and blues and greens. Oh. I wonder if there's Jacob that is not multicolored animals. I've only ever seen them multicolored. Oh, I got sidetracked. I forgot to finish talking about the World Sock Competition. So their deal is 2 sock patterns get released. A challenge one and a just knit it for fun. And I haven't seen them set. I haven't read all the rules. I just found this today, early this afternoon. So I have to go in and check and see if there's any kind of qualifier or whether they're just putting the sock patterns out for anybody that's in the group. And maybe they have, a rule where you need to post your progress on the sock and you can't get the next one until you make one. I'm not sure how they have it set up. And why in the world the Super Sock World Challenge name? It sounds over the top, doesn't it? I'm sorry, Kate. I cannot take that music. Switching on you there. It's too late in the evening for that kind of music. Yeah, I know. That's more like let's get it done all day music, isn't it? I'm being picky about the music. One of the problems is when I played this channel the last time, they muted part of my. They said that, there was a copyright issue. And Pretzel's not supposed to have any, but Twitch's software still finds it now and then. So, you can post an appeal, but they never really overturn it. And okay, so I'm not really saying anything all that important, but it's very annoying to somebody who's watching, even as a VOD. It doesn't matter during the immediate stream, but as a VOD, and they're watching it, and you can't hear me talking, right? And it'll last for the length of the song, which is usually about 3 minutes. So, I don't know. I gotta wind down tonight anyway, because I gotta get up early in the morning. Gotta leave the house at 8 o'clock in the morning. So. The fluff ball gets groomed. Dog, your dog. I've been brushing my cat a lot. He's shedding like crazy. He's a short hair, but he's still shedding like crazy. Oh, that's good. She really likes the groomer. She doesn't much like getting fussed with much. Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's too much like going to the vet, when you leave your home and ride in the car and all the other scary stuff. But if she goes outside, she might be happier to have her hair cut for summer. I should start saving that cat fur just for the fun of it, spin it sometime on the stream. It's not enough to do anything with, really. I could spin it on the Nano. I don't think I'd try a drop spindle without blending it. Oh no, will anybody eat them? Kay says I have popsicles in the freezer at work. That was always such a big thing at work. You know, I worked in a big lab, and we had our own break room. And we had a refrigerator at the freezer, and you put your food in there at somewhat peril of somebody just helping themselves. It was terrible, but they could get away with it because you know nobody really. It was honor system, right? Yeah, they better not, right? Yeah, and I a lot of times I got to the point where I carried a insulated bag and just kept bag in my locker. I kind of figure it actually might have been third shift a lot because there was no cafeteria service during their shift, which is crappy, really crappy. And I wonder if, you know, you just get to the point where, like, I want something to eat. So you go see. Of course, you eat it at risk anyway. Who wants to eat other people's food? You never know. I'm a little picky that way, I guess. But, yeah, community refrigerators. Always a bone of contention, I think. My favorite popsicles are those red, white, and blue ones. The blue part, especially. I think it was blueberry or something like that, or some kind of berry. Rocket Pops? I think they're called Rocket Pops. Yeah, they are good, aren't they? I think it. What? Cherry. I never could figure out what the white was. It was. I mean, sometimes it would taste like pineapple, and sometimes not. I think it was supposed to be pineapple. And then one time, hubby and I got banana popsicles. Oh, those were good too. They really tasted like bananas. I cannot stop yawning. I'm so sorry. The just the night time of night. I was talking earlier about, getting muted and the copyright. I forget what they call it. It's not a copyright. It's not DMCA because I've been reading Pretzel Discord, and when you get these notices from Twitch and they mute you, those are not the DMCA infringements, but there's some reason and I think they are saying copyright. But anyway, because of that and putting the appeal in, I went to the Discord and joined the Pretzel group. And they have a place on there that you post. So what they do, I imagine, is go in and fix the licensing that's attached to whatever song it is, so that you don't run into it. Hopefully nobody else runs into it again. I think that's how they find out. Somewhere along the line somebody missed getting the licensing right on something that they put into Discord. So hopefully they have done that. Well, hello. Who do we have? Lydia, welcome. I don't see the alert on the page, there. I see it in the chat. I'm not real sure. It must not be making any sound on the alert to alert me. I am slowly but surely getting up there in my follower numbers. Yeah, Lydia's not even on anymore. There you are. You don't show there. Welcome. Hello. I am good. Nice to meet you. What brings you by this evening? Are you a crafter or just enjoying what you can find on Twitch? And thank you for the follow. If you didn't hear me earlier, thank you very much. You were probably watching the ad. Yeah, I do that all the time. I go to a stream I want to watch, and then it's like, oh, I gotta watch this ad. Of course, the way around that is to subscribe, but yeah, you don't subscribe to anything until you've been watching it for a long time or whatever, because you bounce, I bounce around. I look at a lot of different things on Twitch that I'm probably only going to watch one time, if not the whole stream. Channel surfer in a way, but not as bad as TV. You crochet? That's welcome. That's wonderful. And I'm glad you found me. Like I said, I do that too. I open up that makers and crafters category and look at everybody that's streaming. Sometimes you run into some really fun stuff. This fiber that I am spinning into yarn is a combination of merino, which is a wool from a sheep, and silk, which comes from silkworms, their cocoons, and bamboo, which is made by taking and emulsifying the bamboo fiber and spraying it through spinnerets so that it makes little bits of fiber for spinning. And technically what I'm doing is called spinning. I'm spinning fiber into yarn. So this fiber right here has a real shine to it, and that comes from the silk and the bamboo. The wool isn't shiny in and of itself, but the silk and the bamboo is. The fiber has been dyed. It probably was all white or off-white, and it's been dyed this color. All of this happened at a processor somewhere else. I just bought it. I didn't do any of this. I just bought it. Because I love the color. And then I'll stop here just a second since you're new to this. After I have a second bobbin of this, I put them together. That's called plying. And you end up with wool, or you end up with a skein of yarn. And this is 2 feet, right? That's the way I skein it off into this large thing. But this is what you can spin or knit with. And this is not dyed. This is the natural color of the wool that was on the sheep. So the sheep was spotted with black and white and gray. It's called Jacob. Hydrate. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am not drinking coffee, even though it's coffee cup, because it's late in the evening for me. I'm drinking water. Let's see, I need to get some more fiber. Do you have a favorite thing you like to crochet? My favorite thing to crochet is afghans. I really like crocheted afghans. And it's not always just the granny square, but any kind of pattern. I do have a stream schedule, and I try to keep that up to date on my Twitch page, but you'll get notification. Since you followed, you'll get a notification. I tend to stream this time of the night now on Wednesdays. Early morning. I'm in Eastern Standard Time, so right now it is just between 8:30 and 9 o'clock p.m. So you can do that, whatever is your time schedule. But Friday mornings, starting around 10 o'clock in the morning for me, and Sunday afternoons, which is around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So you can see I'm trying to bounce around a little bit to catch people that have different schedules, different times. You like crocheting amigurumi, but you're trying to make a granny square blanket this summer. Good for you. That'll be fun. I'll tell you, the one Afghan I don't make is the one that my grandmothers always made, and that's that ripple. I don't like those. But I do love the granny squares. I like the patterned other kind of crochet too. I knit too. I knit more than I crochet, to be honest. Oh, that's wonderful. I'll be happy to have you join me anytime. And Kay says, I'm swearing off blankets that need to be sewn together. I mean at this time. Probably, she says, while sewing. Oh, okay. So, yeah. See, that's okay. That's what happens when you do these knitted squares and you have to put your blanket together. Granny squares is, you're not crocheting together, you are actually physically doing a seam, right? Sewing. I forget what you're working on. If you show me or not in Discord. Lydia, do you like Discord? I do have a Discord too. I'll send you a link here. Not a real chatty group, but I get a few things posted and people show us what they're working on. Kate, did you see the wild silk moth in my Discord? Have you seen that? I was just so excited. I mean, it's hanging on one of my doors to my house. You're actually seaming. Okay. You don't have enough practice with crochet joining to give it to somebody. I don't have enough practice with crochet joining to give it to somebody else as a gift. I got you. Okay. I was going to say, what's that got to do with somebody else doing the crocheting for you? But that's not what you're saying. Yeah, it's a gift. That's right. It's not actually all that pretty with that fat body, but I just was so amazed after I found out that it's in the family of the wild silk moths for North America, in other words. But it took me a while to find it, and I actually posted on Facebook another asking, and other people confirmed what I thought. So I was like, wow, that's really fun. And it is. It's very large. It's a very large moth. And the same day we went, the next morning we went out on our porch and we had a Luna up on the porch. Now it left. I never got a picture of it, but we see those around more often. This one moth, I've only seen here a couple times over the 30 years I've lived here. It's not real common. And I told my husband, I said, oh, can I put it in a shoebox and keep it and maybe feed it, and will it make a silk cocoon? And I was like, no, I'm just going to leave it there. Yeah, well, I'm that way with other bugs, particularly spiders. And I really didn't mess with it. There's this thing that I've always heard, that if you mess with their wings, they can't fly. So I took pictures of it, but I didn't touch it or mess with it. Oh, okay, Lydia. Thanks for stopping by. It's okay. You have a good day, too. And I will see you again. Bye. The thing is, I've never seen big moths like that actually fly. I think it's because they fly at night, and, I'm not seeing them, or I'm not awake. I only ever see, like, the regular butterflies and things like that. The little tiny moths I see. Those sulfurs. And, moth has such a bad connotation, and of course it's awful. I have one wool shawl that did get ruined, and it was, that I hand knit. It wasn't hand spun, it was just, I had knitted out of some lace yarn. I was devastated. So it's a real thing. I have all of my wool stuff in containers now with cedar blocks. I don't take any more chances after that. But I saw that shawl, and I saw one hole, and okay, I'll just get something and I can bind that little hole up, do a little darning work. And then I saw another, and then I saw another, and then I saw another, and then I was like, oh my gosh, this is ruined. So I invested in the totes that go under the bed, and cedar blocks to go inside. Yeah, I know. After you put all that work into it. It was beaded too. It's like, ah. Oh well. The whole thing was I didn't wear it enough. So, that's part of it. It's one I didn't wear much. Stayed folded up. Yeah, well, the thing is about that kind of moth, you never see them. You really very, very rarely see them. So, that's why they can be so damaging. I was like, why couldn't you chew up that wool pair of socks I don't like? Stiff neck. We took our car to get an oil change, and I was in the waiting room, and the little lady that does the checkout could see me. She was sitting, behind her counter and everything, but she could see me in the waiting room, and I was sitting there knitting socks, and I forget what she came over and said something to me. I don't remember what it was, but I know it wasn't about the knitting, but she talked to me. And then when I went to check out, it didn't take very long. And I complimented her. I said, "Why, you guys are so fast. I hardly got any knitting done, you know." And she said, "Oh, well, that's a good thing." She said, "It'd be really bad if you'd gotten an Afghan done." It's like, oh my gosh, yeah, that'd be really bad. I'm just knitting socks. I am knitting a pair of socks called Time in the Bottle. It has the most unusual heel flap. Not heel, but the heel flap that you do where you go back and forth. It's patterned. That's probably what's going on. I am so used to the flaps being pretty basic stockinette stitch, but you slip stitches, and you know what I'm saying. It's just usually pretty basic. And this has got knits and purls, and I cannot get that pattern in my mind. It's only 2 rows, and I need to do it for 2.5 inches, and I have to read that pattern for every row every time because I cannot get that pattern in my mind. So I was sitting there in the waiting room with my iPad open to Knit Companion and knitting that heel flap. I'm not having much luck with that sock because a couple weeks ago, hubby had to have some medical tests, and so they said that I just dropped him off at where it was, and I said I'll be sitting out here in the car, and I've got my knitting, you know, and they said he'd be done around 2:30, so I said I'll be back because there wasn't any place to park nearby, so I had to go somewhere else to park. So I'm sitting there, and I get all settled in, and I get my knitting bag out, and I pull the sock out, and I pull out the iPad for Knit Companion, and I wasn't on the heel flap yet, and I did not have, I'm doing 3 double point needles, and then you have the 4th one to knit with, and I didn't have the 4th needle. It was like, I can't knit this. So I read instead. But that's the kind of thing that sock is. It's just kind of jinxed. I'm afraid to. I mean, it's from cuff down. I really need to slide it on and see if it's going to fit, but I'm almost afraid to. I know, I thought that was kind of unusual. And the wrong side, of course, has the slip stitches, but if you knit and they tell you to slip, I'm sorry, the right side has the slip stitches, and if they tell you to knit, or they tell you to purl, then your yarn is forward, and then they tell you to slip, and then you slip it without thinking about it, then your line of the slip stitch is going on the front, and that of course is not where you want it. You have to put your yarn in the back, slip your stitch, and it's just kind of backwards all the way around. Kay says, I got to work the other day and I had all the pieces and the scissors and the yarn needle and not the yarn you were sewing with. Oh, so yeah. I know. You want to be so efficient, and sometimes it just don't happen, does it? Some people I know keep knitting in the car, right? So they always have something to knit on, and they say if they're stuck in traffic or whatever, but I'm like, I don't do, well, we don't go enough, really, and I have to drive, so it's very unusual for me to be able to knit in the car anyway. The one thing I know a lot of people will read on their phones. I'm not a reader on my iPhone, but I got into these little books called mouse books. I don't know if I can I'll have to get up and get one. This is a set of science fiction. Let me go to they look like this. See the mouse book logo? And they're the size of your phone. See? So this goes in my purse, and that's what I read when I need to read. Now, I will say these are actually original stories, but most of them are excerpts from classics, which is one of the reasons I got interested in it, because there are so many of the classics that I have not read the whole book, and this is just kind of a nice way to sort of delve into it. And it's authors that normally I wouldn't pick up and read, and so you just get a little bit, and they're kind of cool. I like them. Let me get back. Need some water. And you know those shelves on your bookcase that are only this high? They fit. I finally have books that fit. And that's the important part. To this day, if hubby is looking for a book, he'll say, "Where is such and such a book?" And I'll say, "What size is it?" Because my books aren't really they're sort of by category, but they're also by size on my bookcases. Boy, I'm going to have to start spinning on this off stream, because if I want my bobbins cleared for Turtle Fleece, I need to get this done. Yeah, yours are by size that fit into the shelf and then sort of loosely organized. I mean, come on. You can't have empty spaces in the bookcase. You gotta use what you got. Especially if you're a book person like I am. Although I designated one shelf in the bookcase in the living room as books I want to read this year. And I'm working my way through that. And some of them are big hardbacks. So, they're not little books. Oh, the series are together mostly. That's the improvement part. My problem, that's not true. I have the books that I haven't read in the series downstairs, but I have the books of that series that I have read upstairs. In other words, it goes upstairs after I read it. So, yeah, that's. One of the books I'm listening to is an audiobook. It's called The Crow's Trap. Crow, Crow apostrophe S, Trap. And, I like it. I cannot classify what kind of story it is. Because it's not following any specific mystery or thriller, that kind of thing. I guess they just call that maybe literary fiction. Maybe it's fiction, but there's a little bit of drama to it because it's about a quarry, a company wanting to put a quarry in, and the people in the area not wanting it. But so consequently, I end up falling asleep a lot while I'm listening to it, especially at night. But it's still interesting enough. I'm staying with it. I'm not going to give up yet. That makes sense. Also, half of my to-be-read books are neatly stacked under the coffee table right now. Okay, well, yes, they're stacked beside my recliner under the table that sits by the recliner, but they're stacked underneath so they're out of sight. Yeah. And then when I get that piled on, I put 6 more there. I do like to read, though. And it does get me through my nights that I can't sleep. Lydia is lurking. Thank you, Lydia. I will drink as soon as I put this little strand down. It's summertime. Mucho agua, por favor. only Spanish I ever learned when I lived in California. It's a good thing it's a big mug. Abad got it empty. My mom started in drinking something I had never heard of. I had to Google it and check it out, see if it was legit. It's called, it's aloe vera. Okay, so I'm familiar with the aloe vera plant, and I always thought aloe vera was topical only. But they legitimately make aloe vera juice. And it's touted by many people for many medical reasons. But the main reason we're getting it in her is she just cannot tolerate drinking water. She just doesn't like the taste. She's been trying to put a little bit of juice in, like a little bit of cranberry juice or apple juice or something like that. She doesn't like juices straight up. So it's not bland, and it's pineapple flavored or mango flavored. And so she's been drinking that, and I said, go for it, Mom. If it gets more water in you, that's good. Did someone encourage you or inspire you to stream? Lydia's asking. Yes. She is also a spinner, but she does a lot of crafts. And her stream name is JK Knits for You. And she's probably the first one that I started watching that made me think, oh, I'd kind of like to do that. I'm going to give her a shout out here let me put this up so I don't have to hold on to it. Now there's a lot of other streamers I watch too, but she was the first that I watched. Let's see if this works. Yep, that's her. Now she is currently streaming mostly just once a week right now, due to her real life situation. But when she streams for quite a few hours, and it's always interesting. She's got a lot of chatters, and she talks a lot. So that was about a year ago. My 1 year anniversary is going to be July 23rd. And that was a point a year ago where we were into a spinning event that coincides with the Tour de France. If the Tour de France is a bicycle race, and if you're familiar with that, then spinners during that Tour de France will spin yarn because we're spinning our wheels, right? So that's the correlation. And it's called Tour de Fleece instead of Tour de France. So last year when it was Tour de Fleece, I found the team for Twitch that was going to be spinning, and JK was on it, and I watched her, and I was hooked. I was like, I gotta do this. I want to do this. So took me a little bit, but I finally figured it out and started streaming. Okay, do you ever watch JK? She streams a lot of times in the mornings. She just had her 3-year anniversary. She's been
nice
streaming
to have a
for
lot of
3 years.
You have to really trust yourselves, I think, to give something space.
So, coming up
Clever or technical.
between June 26th and July something. July. How long does Tour de France go? July 16th? It's 3 weeks, starting June 26th. A lot of people will be streaming, and then there'll be raid trains and stuff like that, where we go raid the next one. It's fun. They usually do it on a Saturday, so people aren't working. I miss her just because she's early in the morning and I'm doing stuff and I forget that I don't even see the alert because I don't have my iPad on. And I don't do the alerts on the phone. But yeah, when I can, I try and catch her. Oh, I need a stretch break. Oh, you started watching Rogue Knitter a year and a half ago, so I got into other streamers that way. Yeah. Her and JK, I think, have been around together for a while. It's pretty bad when you get fiber fuzz on your microphone cover there. It's about time for me to stop. I'm not gonna start any more fiber tonight. I swear, I think I have all my fiber tools within the 5 or 1 yard perimeter. Perimeter is the word I'm looking for. 1 yard perimeter around me. Here. I want to see how much I've spun I'm guessing I've spun 2 ounces. Let's see if this is 4. Might be more. Yeah, these were 4-ounce balls. So let's see what I've got left here. Exactly 2. I have, okay, so it takes me 4 hours to spin 2 ounces of this. Yeah. It's slow going, but it's pretty. Exactly where they need to be. They are. They're right here. Well, one nice thing about when you're spinning the same fiber for a long time, you don't have to change the title underneath your stream explaining what you're doing. It stays the same. And all those bags in the back, those are stuff I'm getting ready for Tour de Fleece. I got in that black edged bag is Caracol. It's carded, but it also has locks ready that I can do a tailspin yarn. And that'll be my novelty yarn for the State Fair. The next 2 bags are the CVM, that is for the Shave 'em to Save 'em. I just have work lined up everywhere, right? Living the dream. Living the dream. That's what I say. I am living the dream. All right. So I'm going to be back Friday morning, 2 days. At 10 o'clock, I'm going to be knitting. I think I'm going to knit on the rug because I'm making progress and I want it done. So 2 hours knitting on that would help that. In the meantime, I hope you all have, all of you, okay, I hope you have a great couple days and thanks for hanging around. Lydia, it's been nice to meet you. I look forward to seeing you again in another stream. So until later, happy spinning.